Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Tracy Murda on behalf of Richard Jacobs here at Future Tech Podcast. And today I have a very esteemed guest, Jorg von Minckwitz of Bitwala, as well as the CEO of Bitcoins Berlin. Jorg, thank you for joining me this morning, or afternoon, or evening, for where you are. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hello, Tracy. No worries. I'm glad to be on the show.
Well, you've got a lot of different, information and bits and pieces of the Bitcoin puzzle to share with us today. So why don't we just jump right in? Tell me a little bit about yourself and the background and what got you started in Bitcoin blockchain technology to begin with.
So that's quite a long story. I started quite early with blockchain and Bitcoin. So the first time when I heard about it, it was 2011. So from my educational background, me and my co-founder Jan, we studied business administration and economics, and so our interest into economics and financial world and the financial system was always there. And I continued my path on the Humboldt University in Berlin and studied my master's degree in finance. And during that, finance was just a side notice, but they said during the studies in one of the lectures that the financial system is going to change in the future and that we're going to see a lot of digital money like Bitcoin. And so I went home and said, this is fascinating, this is great, so I need to dig into this. Jan and me sat down, did some mathematical calculations, and we just thought from the very beginning it makes total sense, and it's like a perfect hedge against the financial system that we have in place today. But the downside was there was no German company, or almost no German company, working with it, and in Europe there was just 2 or 3 companies doing stuff with Bitcoin. So we were one of the first people who educated other people here in Europe in terms of the Bitcoin and blockchain technology. We founded one of the first consulting companies who were just focused on Bitcoin and blockchain technology, and we got good customers and we could make a good living out of it. But the problem was with the bigger companies in 2011, as you can imagine, it was such a new topic, such a new and diverse thing that at a certain point they always said, okay, we can't do that now. It's too new, it's too big, it's too risky. So we said, okay, if we really want to change something here in Europe, we have to create our own businesses around it. And that was basically the start of Bitcoins Berlin. So we founded an e-commerce shop where you could buy stuff on the internet with Bitcoin. And we, step by step, and we did also BDC, which is a shopping runner, a shopping system for Bitcoin. And so we step by step got further and further to acceptance of Bitcoin in Germany and in Europe. We also founded the biggest co-working space, or I think it's still one of the biggest fintech co-working spaces in Europe. So everything that we developed was quite nice, and it was always solving some problems. But the more customers we got, the more problems we were facing, and this is how we came up with the idea of Bitwala, that we start changing how we do international transfers entirely.
So tell me about Bitwala. What was the beginning like? How does it work? And just sort of, how did this come to be what it is today?
Yeah, exactly. So we were living, I'm living personally off Bitcoin, entirely off Bitcoin, so I didn't have any cash since 5 years. So I always had, only when I really needed cash, I got cash, but the rest I did all with Bitcoin. But with my programs, all for BDC or with the e-commerce, I was able to shop on the internet, but it was really not an option for me to get rid of my bank account and to live entirely on this new technology. So what we tried with Bitwala is to create something that comes as close as possible to a normal bank account, and that the mainstream user understands what's going on, and so you get an IBAN and a BIC in the future, so you have everything that you know from your normal bank account. And yeah, this is the big goal. And the funny thing was, the more we developed this substitute for a normal bank account, the more we realized like how much better our system is and how much faster in terms of international transfer. So Bitwala focuses on international transfers, and we use the Bitcoin infrastructure to make these payments really cheap and efficient for our end customers.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, talking about the differences, the advantages, and maybe even if there are some disadvantages from using the Bitcoin transfer versus going through traditional banking.
Yes. So the biggest advantage of Bitcoin is probably speed and also the cost. When it comes to international transfers, especially for small, medium-sized companies, and especially for smaller transactions, the transaction fees are so high that for a small, medium-sized company, it's really hard to do proper international business with an international customer base. But with Bitcoin, that was all easy now. We could transfer money around the globe. We could deal with people in China. We could work with people in Morocco or wherever they came from that worked. But Bitcoin has a massive problem in terms of volatility. So when you do speculations with Bitcoin yourself, or you invest and you sell, it's all like a fun project aside, and you are aware that the value of Bitcoin is changing entirely or completely all the time. But as soon as you're running a business with Bitcoin as a currency in your company, you're strongly related to this volatility, and you're exposed to it. And this is the risk where I see, like, this is no company in Germany or Europe is willing to take this risk and go fully on Bitcoin. So we needed to develop a system where you can hedge money to the currency you want to, so you don't have the volatility. But as soon as you want to transfer money with Bitcoin, yeah, you're immediately able to do so with our platform. So we're going to launch in March something really unique. We're one of the very first companies worldwide who can serve like a fully licensed bank account in the backend, but with the possibility to take advantage of the Bitcoin technology when it comes to international transfers.
You said something earlier that was interesting to me too, is that, you know, for the mainstream users is what I think you said. So Jorg, how easy is this to use with Bitwala? Is it for your novice Bitcoin, you know, person who's not quite all up to speed on what this technology is, what it relays? Do you have to have a good understanding of Bitcoin in order to use the service?
So at the stage it is now, when you download our app or when you go on the internet and you log in on our website, the whole site and the whole concept is developed for Bitcoin users. So at the moment, you should understand what Bitcoin is, and you also should understand how to keep your private key safe, and like the basic things that you should know about Bitcoin, you should also know when you're using Bitwala. But one of our main visions and goals of Bitwala is really to make this as easy as sending an email. So I always say my ultimate test is always giving my mother the app, because she's really not from the current
Great.
internet, right? But like as soon as my mother understands Bitwala, then my ultimate vision and goal is achieved, because I really want to bring this technology to mainstream. And yeah, we always call Bitwala the browser of Bitcoin. So like nobody understands nowadays what TCP/IP is, or nobody can read HTML, or only coders can. But everybody's on the internet and can use it. And this is just because of the browser. So you have the technology, TCP/IP or the internet, and this is in analogy Bitcoin. So you have the technology, but now you need something that translates this technology to normal people that are not affected by Bitcoin, or not typical geeks or fintech people.
Right, exactly. So tell me about the transfer process and how it works, and also if you can kind of touch on, you know, the security and the safety behind it.
Yeah, the basic idea is just like a perfect link between your Bitwala bank account and your Bitwala wallet. So you can instantaneously change between Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies, and you can store in euro or US dollar. So it's your freedom how you do it. And this is the big difference, like the big unique thing, that you can hedge and trade instantaneously. And so as soon as you have Bitcoin on your wallet, on your Bitwala wallet, you're able, so it's pretty intuitive. You can tell me, or the Bitwala, you want to transfer money to China, or you want to transfer money to Korea, or you can send money to Mexico. So you just choose the country, you choose the currency, you type in the amount, and in the end you pay with Bitcoin. So it's quite intuitive, the whole process, how you actually pay your bills. And also, like, the purchase of Bitcoin and like swapping between Euro and Bitcoin is also just a few clicks starting from March. So this is like a really big step into the mainstream market for Bitcoin users in Europe.
Well, let me back up a little bit. What is sort of your ultimate goal or vision of Bitwala between the platform and the technology? Where do you see yourselves in, 5-10 years?
Our ultimate goal at Bitwala is really changing the way we do international transfers. I'm always using the metaphor just to show you like how outdated our money transfer system, especially between continents, is. When I want to like communicate with other people around the world, it's just fine. Like I can Skype you, or I can send a WhatsApp or a Facebook message around the globe, and it's there within a few seconds. So that's totally fine and totally sufficient to do international business. But if you want to transfer money on with your normal online banking, it takes 3 to 5 business days, or it costs a fortune in terms of fees, especially when you want to transfer smaller amounts. That leads to a situation where we, in the current state, in the modern times, we have internet, we have mobile phones, we have like the newest technology that you can imagine. But when it comes to money, the fastest way to transfer your money is actually jump in a train or jump in a plane and bring the money in person there. And this is a situation that is nonsense and a no-go. And we truly think that with our Bitwala transfer system, we can really change the way international payments are made in the future.
Do you have any other projects going on, or any other, new developments that you are open to sharing with us today?
Yeah, one of the projects that I'm probably most proud of is still our co-working space. Like it's around 700 square meters, and we have like 80 seats, and we have so many companies and people from all over the world united in one dream to change the financial system. And this is like, I'm not actively a part of this anymore, so we have like a proper CEO. My co-founder took over, so I don't have any responsibility there, but I still work in the very same co-working space, and I'm always happy to go there, because like, especially when you're a founder in Germany or in quite alone with your idea, like all your student friends and all the people, especially when you went to a good university like I did, that all of them work for BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Tesla, whatever the big companies, and they're going to hire there and want to make a career. So in the very first place, when I started to be self-employed 5 years ago, they asked me like, why? Did you have bad grades, or did you not make it into a good company? I said like, no, I want to start a good company when you apply later, right? I'm just like thinking a little bit bigger, and that's maybe funny in the United States, but it's actually a fact here in Europe. So the best students in Europe, they go for large companies and for a career, and it's still not so well seen to go self-employed. So for me, this was a game changer when I opened up the co-working space, and I have like so many people with the same mindset around me, and all of them working and fighting for the good ideas, getting funding, going through the whole process. So we realized we're not alone, and since then, like, there's so much energy in the co-working space. So that's, I think, one of the things that I'm really proud of.
I love that. That's awesome. What have you found so far that has been some of the biggest challenges or difficulties when you were developing Bitwala?
Yeah, that's easy to say, because as soon as you're in fintech, the main challenge is always the legal part. So especially when you do business with blockchain and Bitcoin technology, you're kind of a pioneer, right? You're there, and there are no rules. So you come and you propose a business model to the regulatory people, and you say, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I want to do this, and they're like, what? I don't understand a single word. And so when I started working with the authorities, like I mentioned Bitcoin, and they're like, yeah, I don't even know what that is, right? And so we first had to frame like a legal framework for us, for our company to succeed here in Europe and get approved by the authorities. And I honestly think it's still one of the major challenges that we have. I always say we have basically two startups. We have one startup that is actually doing our startup, so actually our product, and the other one is a legal startup that helps our government to find rules for the things that we develop. So it's so on the edge of technology that there are no rules yet, and so we have to create them with hand by hand with the authorities, and that makes it a huge challenge, as you can imagine. Like another startup just starts and puts the web app out and gets customers. With us, it's even hard to get approved by the different app stores. So especially Apple, it took us ages to get approved in the App Store. And yeah, these are challenges that you specifically have when you work in fintech.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you have to, I'm assuming, educate the lawmakers on what it is that you're doing in order to get compliance and laws that are going to be effective for what it is that you do.
Exactly. It makes it challenging, right? Because you're making new rules with them, but also it puts you in a beneficial situation because you can influence and can show them many things and explain. Because we had many situations in China and many other countries where like the authorities didn't care a long time, and then like when they cared, it was almost too late. And in our case, it was like working hand in hand to get to the point where we deliver a product where the authorities are happy, our customers are happy, and we are happy. So yeah, took us a long time, but we're finally there.
I love it. So what do you find as the industries out there that are benefiting the most from your platform and what you all do?
So, like, yeah, in general, our main focus is like the fintech and the fintech SME market, and like people who were interested in the financial world, because at the moment we're still so on the edge that we need some explanation and what's going on. So these are our main target groups. I would say IT. Fintech, all the people that work with tech basically are our key and focused customer group. But yeah, the more mature our platform goes, the more it goes over industries. In the very first place, it was just geeks and computer nerds, and then it grew a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we have around 25,000 customers on our platform. We transfer like millions of euro every month. And now we see also other industry get more and more interested. And I think, especially when it comes to trade between Europe and China, there's definitely some areas where it's getting more interesting in the future. But so far, we're really down to the tech people.
Are there any, real competitors out there?
I mean, yeah, of course. There are many people who are aiming to improve international transfers, and also now there are more and more Bitcoin companies coming up aiming for something similar. But I think the Bitcoin Bank approach that we have with our tech and the constellation of partnerships and also the service that we provide, we're still quite unique, but I'm 100% sure the next few months and years we will see so many competitors. Like at the moment, our approach is quite unique, but in the future, I see many of those companies popping up all over the world. It's obvious that there's so much that we have to do and have to improve. I mean, the metaphor that I used with a plane to bring your money in cash, this is so obvious that the system is outdated that many people will more and more push into this market.
Okay. So, just to kind of recap some of the basics for, our basic users out there, when it comes to the Bitwala, are you talking about a virtual prepaid card? Are you talking about a physical card? And kind of give me an idea of how and where can I use it?
So at the moment we offer all kinds of cards. So you can order a physical one, so it's a normal Visa card. You can order a virtual one, but different to other products, this is just a side product of ours. So we wanted to enable people to get cash and money on an ATM and pay online. But starting from March, we will serve a full working bank account with all the legal tender that is in a normal bank account. And then also the card, like the Euro Cash, that's not so famous in the US, but it's like basically a Visa card for Europe and the Visa card, and both of those cards will be directly linked to your bank account. So there's no difference anymore between a normal bank account and our system starting from March, with the benefit that you can send all cryptos out that you want, and you can use the new technology in a way that's never been done before, I think.
So, any final thoughts on Bitwala or just Bitcoin and blockchain in general that you'd like to leave our listeners with? Also, I would like to say, if someone's interested in signing up with Bitwala, what is the best way to go about it, and how easy is it?
So my thoughts is I think that both for Bitwala and Bitcoin, 2017 is going to be a huge year. I mean, I'm following Bitcoin as, like, I started the whole conversation since 2010, 2011, and when I take a look at the process and how far we came from like a really underground movement to go against the system and to fight banks, and what kind of slogans I read back in the day, to, okay, this is a really like a business case. This is the technology where also bigger banks and like payment providers all over the world get interested and fascinated by it. I mean, when you take a look at 2016, blockchain was probably the buzzword itself. So on every fintech conference, on every insurtech conference, you always have blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. But this was the infrastructure and the technology, and I think this year is going to be the year of the applications. So the applications like Bitwala, who are taking this technology as it is, as a technology that runs in the background and really makes it easy for the mainstream to use it. And I see big usage and big increase of media coverage and also Bitcoin price value in 2017, because people will actually start using it. Before it was just more or less investment, or having fun using a new currency. But now it comes down to, what is the benefit of Bitcoin? What does it bring to me? And can I use it in my business? And as soon as businesses and banks all over the world adopt this technology, this is going to happen in 2017, I think, and it's going to be great.
Oh, 2017 already. That's awesome. So where can someone find the best information to, get some info on Bitwala as well as just the company in general?
Yeah, the easiest is probably go on www.bitwala.io. Just sign up, and if you have any questions or thoughts, you can always write us an email on support@bitwala.la. And if you have any questions or you need further help, we have a great support team. We have really nice employees here who are always keen to help people who have problems. So just reach out to us if you're interested in what we do, or if you just want to use our service.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for your time. It's been such a pleasure today to speak with you and get some information. And me too.
Enjoyed the talk with you. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We look forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Yeah.
Have a good one,
Thank you.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Movement to go against the system and to fight banks, and what kind of slogans I read back in the day, to, okay, this is a really like a business case. This is a technology where also bigger banks and like payment providers all over the world get interested and fascinated by it. I mean, when you take a look at 2016, blockchain was probably the buzzword itself. So on every fintech conference, on every insurtech conference, you always have blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. But this was the infrastructure and the technology, and I think this year is going to be the year of the applications. So the applications like Bitwala, who are taking this technology as it is, as a technology that runs in the background and really makes it easy for the mainstream to use it. And I see big usage and big increase of media coverage and also Bitcoin price value in 2017, because people will actually start using it. Before it was just more or less investment or having fun using a new currency, but now it comes down to what is the benefit of Bitcoin, what does it bring to me, and can I use it in my business? And as soon as businesses and banks all over the world adopt this technology, this is going to happen in 2017, I think, and it's going to be great.
Oh, 2017 already. That's awesome. So where can someone find the best information to, get some info on Bitwala as well as just the company in general?
Yeah, the easiest is probably go on www.bitwala.io. Just sign up, and if you have any questions or thoughts, you can always write us an email on support@bitwala.la. And if you have any questions or you need further help, we have a great support team. We have really nice employees here who are always keen to help people who have problems. So just reach out to us if you're interested in what we do or if you just want to use our service.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for your time. It's been such a pleasure today to speak with you and get some information. And
It's nice to talk with you. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We look forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Yeah.
Have a good one,
Thank you.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, both to review, to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more. Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, both to review, to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.